And welcome to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. This is a live streaming video podcast by Star Wars fans for Star Wars fans, and we're going to be continuing our review of Star Wars Andor, Season 2, Episode 4, Ever Been to Ghorman.
Yeah. So what were your initial thoughts of this episode?
Um, this one was fucking great. Second viewing was even better than the first, but yeah, no, this was fun. This is where we really get to see Cyril become cool-ish.
Cyril. Yeah.
Yes.
My impression was we got PTSD, we got some counter spy action. I mean, good stuff. Like this is
Oh yeah.
especially after the first third, like the first three-story act, 3 episode arc. This coming into this one feels so much better than coming into the very first one because you're like, wait, what? What's going on? Like you just didn't really have the vibe for it. Now we do, and it's complex and it's frustrating, and you can see the dominoes being set up, and we know where it's going to end. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I really dug it.
Uh,
So let's talk about this. This is directed by Ariel Kleiman, written by Bo Willimon, and it was released April 29th, so we're a couple days late.
yeah, just a little bit.
So this is actually 1 year after the incident on Mina Rao. And
Mhm.
let's start with Bix and Cassian's dynamic here, because they never really talked about it before, but Bix was like tortured.
Yeah, like terribly tortured.
Like just fucked up. And we saw it at the end of the first season, and so we know it happened, but it was never really addressed. And so we're sort of left with what? She just processed it and it's done. Okay, well, she's a
Yeah.
stronger person than I am until this episode. And then we start to see that not only does she have severe PTSD,
Mhm.
understandably, but she's also abusing drugs in order to cope, which again,
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah. Who would do that? Yeah, that's yeah, that was the because that's how the episode closed out, right? Was her staring vacantly out the window and then bloop.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
yeah, that was oh wait, no, that's not how that ended. It was
This
then it was
episode
Saw.
did.
But yeah, but yeah, that was some shit, man. Like seeing the reality of that, because I mean, this is a year after that. Like you would think, oh, okay, somebody's over shit by then, but then it's like, well, no, I guess the realities of torture probably last a little bit longer than a year.
Yeah. Well, and the reality that like there's no time point frame where you're like, well, it's been a year and 2 days. I'm fine. you
Right?
know, this is like you don't ever really. I'm still processing grief from shit that I went through decades ago.
Yeah.
It's just you never really. At least I don't know anyone that's ever really fully processed and able to get past. You just do your best to cope with it.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, the reality is you learn to live with it.
yeah,
That's it.
as good as it gets,
hmm
which
Yeah.
is
I mean,
so
that's
fun.
all you can hope for, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The myth of acceptance or closure or anything like that to any profound uh, sorrow, loss, whatever. It's a myth. Like it doesn't exist.
yeah. I remember my stepdad telling me, "Time heals all wounds." And as a kid, I
Nope.
was like, "Oh, that's such a wonderful sentiment." And yeah, that must be true. And the older I get, I'm like, "You lying motherfucker! Did
Right?
you
That's the biggest crock of shit.
did you not know, or were you just fucking placating me? Because I feel now like you're placating me, and I would have
Mhm.
rather you just told me the goddamn truth. That no, this is going to hurt, and you're going to have to learn to deal with it.
Right.
Like life is pain, as quoted from the Princess Bride, the source of all truth in life.
100%.
No, but so we see like she's still seeing the doctor in her dreams and sleepwalking, and there's this line in it where he's like, I didn't even ask his name. That she's witnessing this other torture,
Dude.
and then he just sort of turns around and is like, wow, everyone's got their own rebellion, right?
Right? It's gone now.
And
God,
I'm just
yeah,
sitting
that
here
was
going, yeah, we're
heavy.
living through it. Like it's a real
That
thing.
that's the worst part about this show is it is so fucking good and it is entirely too real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, that's what makes it so good and believable. But oh my god, it fucking hurts because it's like, yeah, no, this shit's going on right now.
Yeah, like for real. And even if it wasn't happening here at home, you could easily extrapolate to literally any other country out
Oh
there,
yeah.
especially in the Middle East, because fuck, that's always the case.
Mhm.
It's just terrible. And so, Cassian's doing the best thing he can of trying to help her because he genuinely loves her. It's a lifelong friend, and they had like a thing for a
Mhm.
while. And like, what can you do as a uh, someone who also is going through their own shit, and you're witnessing someone that you genuinely love suffering? Like, what can you do? You're just like,
Right.
be there.
That's that's such a level of despair that's just like that shit. Like, of course, getting into the reality of it, like that shit haunts me more than my own demons. Like knowing someone you deeply care for is hurting and there's literally nothing you can do about it except be there for them.
Mhm.
It is just it's helplessness in its entirety. Like it's fucking terrible.
Yeah. And then we throw in Luthen, who's who we're sort of jumping around, but trying to stay with the same characters for a minute. And Luthen's just like, "Hey, you ever been to Ghorman?" Hence the title of the thing. He's like, "I need you to go. It's not going to be like the last one, but it's serious. You got to be careful. You got to be, stay undercover and stuff, because there's clearly something happening on Ghorman, and no one knows what it is. I mean, some people know, but no one actually knows what it is except for the ISB and Krennic. Project, what was it? Stardust.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to find out what's up. If they can bring Ghorman to the rebellion, and they know that the Empire wants something with Ghorman, that gives them leverage, and that's all you
Mhm.
need in any type of wartime scenario. If you have leverage, you might be able to live. You might.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
guarantee the luck.
that's the hope.
And I love that because we're not dealing with no, we're going to win this war. It's how can we try to slow it down as much as possible because it
Mhm.
seems inevitable and we're just standing up against a fucking brick wall. And what do you do? Like I really felt this when it was the No King Day, and
Mhm.
I was sitting in the kitchen. I was just like, I don't even know what I was doing, like eating a piece of bread or some shit. And I just sort of called out to Shauna. I was like, I feel fucking terrible that we're not at one of those rallies. Like, should we go? And Sean was like, do you want to go? And I didn't answer. I was just sitting here running it through in my head. Like, what is the upside? What am I actually going to be able to do by not
Mhm.
going? Am I saying something to my kids, to myself? And we ultimately didn't go. And I felt horrible about it. And then I went to work, and there's this part time kid that we hired that's still in college, and she and I had talked about, we're like the only two people who don't like adore Trump in that office, and
That's so
she's like,
crazy to
"Did
me.
you go?" And it was just shame all over my face. Like, no, I didn't. And I feel horrible about it, but no, I didn't. And it turns
Yeah.
out that there was shootings, and that doesn't mean anything. But
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I didn't fucking go, man. Because like, I had considered it not the Ogden one, because Ogden's cool as fuck, like, even the cops were a part of it, like, actively a part of the protests, including the fucking mayor and everything, um, but, like, I was gonna go to the Salt Lake one as a fucking medic,
yeah,
and I'm fucking glad I didn't.
yeah, it's rough because I still feel like I let something down, and so that's
Mhm,
kind of what we're dealing with right now in this episode where Cassian doesn't want to do this. He- There's no upside,
mhm,
What's the best outcome? He gets a feel for some random human or alien, and then he reports back. Meanwhile, Bix is tortured right here. She's suffering,
mhm,
and there's nothing he can do here either. And so he's like, I haven't said whether I will or not. And of course, we know what happens next, but I love that because he's sort of in that torn moment that I feel like we kind of live in from time to time, where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. There's literally
mhm,
no upside, and you just have to hope that the choice you make has some form of positive impact or outcome for at least someone you care about. And
mhm.
a lot of times it doesn't. It's brutal because ultimately he does leave, and that's why we see her alone at the end, just
Yeah.
doped in herself. Just like, I can't fucking deal. I have to, if I'm gonna have to sleep, I gotta be numb. Like,
Mhm.
and I get it. I
Yeah.
fucking get it.
Totally get it.
So then let's cut over to Ghorman because we've got Cyril and First of all, let's just talk about Dedra, who is just terrifyingly hollow as a human being.
Yeah, man. I fucking love how much of a villain she is. She's like the perfect villain because she truly believes what she's doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's the sign of a good fucking villain.
Yeah. Um, I love that even when the sort of informant in the ISB who sort of stood up, he's like, we're arresting too many people. We can't process them enough. So how can we possibly get enough data? And which, of course, you always have to tell your superiors, whoever is in the chain of command above you, the truth. If you
Mhm.
don't and you just pretend, you're not only harming the ultimate mission, whatever that might be. In this case, I'm glad because it's the Empire. Fuck them. But it's also like you are just damning yourself because you're not going to be able to provide the intel or information that is required of you. So you look inept at best.
Mhm.
And so he
Yeah.
is the only one in the room to have the balls to step up. That gets him a chance to get information later by getting lunch with that dude. But also, we get to see Dedra go after the guy who is on the Axis project that she was moved off of so that she could focus on Ghorman. And she's like, look, you can have all the glory. I can be an asset in this. And he's like, has it ever occurred to you that I didn't do this for glory? Like, that's why they assigned me to this.
Right. And I just love how much that fucking stops her. Like you can actively see the cogs turning their head like how the fuck do I respond to this?
And I love that because
Mhm.
I never once, I got to be honest, I never once thought she was doing it for glory. I thought she was doing it
Right.
like, because Cyril doesn't seem like he's doing anything for glory. He is on a
Mhm.
mission. He is in
Yeah.
the zone doing what he has to do because he really feels like it will ultimately lead to some sort of greater good. I
Mhm.
believe he's a believer. But this is the first time I ever questioned Dedra. I was like, oh, fuck, is she not doing this for the power? Is she, I mean, the ultimate empire, end? Is she doing this for herself? And it completely, for me in the moment, recontextualized the character.
Oh
Because I
yeah.
really did think she was like all in, for the empire. But no, she just wants this mission and she's obsessed about it. So, I mean, what do you think? Is she really in it just for her own win, or is she in it for the greater glory?
I think she started off for the greater glory, like the good of the empire and all that shit. But just as time goes on, the obsession with Andor, like
Mm-hmm.
constantly calling him by name, not just the code name, uh, like that is a thorn in her toe that she cannot get to fast enough.
Yeah. And I do like that because there is an obsession, and we're going to see it pay off at the end of this season, an
Oh yeah.
obsession about Andor that no one knows about except for the fucking Empire. And I think
Mhm.
that's so great because their lives are wrapped around this gravitational pull of this rebel that they believe will solve everything. If they can just get this guy, everything will unravel and they'll have it all. And he's not even aware of their existence. Like,
Right.
there's something beautiful about that. I mean, terrifying for them, but just beautiful about that concept that he is literally just the center of their universe and he doesn't even fucking acknowledge it. He doesn't even know. Um,
Right. It almost reminds me of the line in Endgame or whatever, where Thanos is like, "I don't even know your name," and it's like this is fucking great because that's the reality of it. Like he doesn't know these motherfuckers are after him. Outside of like the context of he's a rebel, obviously they're after him,
mhm.
but like after him personally, yeah, he's not aware of that shit.
Yeah. It's so cool. And so
Mm.
we get to see Cyril actually doing stuff. Like he's been sort of sidelined as a character for a while now. And now we're
Mhm.
actually seeing him as an administrator on Gorman, like leading everyone on so that he can be contacted by these rebels. And I can't remember how I thought about it the first time around. This time around, I'm really loving it. I love how
Oh yeah.
slow he is, how patient he is, and how much he's playing into the rebels' hands, and they have no fucking idea.
Right? Like that's the thing. I when I first watched it, like I didn't quite grasp the magnitude of just how good he is at being a spy,
Mm.
but he like led them to come to him first.
Yeah.
And they just completely bought into it and were like, "Oh, well, no, clearly, we're recruiting him." And nope, he's the fucking one that forced your guys' hand.
And so how long, has he been here the full year? And that's why it was so believable that they, sort of have been watching him for so long that they feel like they reached out and contacted him because of his sort of sympathetic tone with his mother. Do they trust him, or do they still think, well, we know he's going to be using us, but we're going to try to get as much out of him first? Like, where do you think
See, I
that
feel
line
like
is?
I feel like the latter is more applicable. I mean, of course, like at least as far as we know, he's been there for the entire year because the first, 3 part of the season, it ended with him being told, "Oh, we're gonna go to Ghorman." So, like, it's pretty safe to assume that he's been there for a year, and
Yeah.
it's pretty safe to assume that they watch anybody in power. They get listening devices anywhere they can, so that they can find what they need to start the uprising.
Mhm. And what do you think about the institution? Because there's clearly members of the Gorman resistance, I guess, that want to actively like react to the Empire.
Mhm.
And then the leader of it seems to be cautioning, wait, let's watch, let's be patient, let's not overreact, even though there clearly have, signs of people breaking. I
Mhm.
mean, how would you try to keep that together? It very much seems like the tea kettle is just ready to scream, and you
Oh yeah,
have to figure out a way to tamp it down.
yeah. I have no idea. I'm definitely not a job for me. I'm fucking. I'm reactionary. I'm not very patient. So, like, yeah, I'd be terrible
It
at
would be
leading
an
any sort of rebellion.
impossible task. Oh, it's just
Yeah, a hundred
impossible.
percent.
And then you wouldn't even
Like,
want to wait because I don't know if they'd think that they know the Empire's building more. They know they're
mhm,
expanding. They know they're not listening, even to the stuff that they told them about not building facilities, in the shadowing over the site of the Gorman massacre by Tarkin. Um,
mhm.
it reminds me, there's like a line in Fight Club where Tyler Durden is like getting ready to get in a fight, and he hears the Brad Pitt's character that I can't think of his name. Or is he Tyler? I can't. I can't
I
remember the
couldn't
names. It's been
tell
so
you.
long. But he's like, "Hit him! It's coming!" Like, hit him. No, it wasn't even. It wasn't even that Fight Club. It was California with David Duchovny and Brad Pitt. They're in the
Close enough.
bar. It was still Brad Pitt, but
Mhm,
different movie. But he's like, "Hit him! It's coming! Hit him!" Like,
mhm.
the Empire is going to crush you. That's not in question. They're already in the
Yeah,
middle of doing something you don't understand, breaking promises that they've made. So
mhm.
they're coming. Why are you sitting on the sideline now when they're only going to get stronger? They're going to hit you harder
Right.
the longer you wait. So I would caution, no, we need to act now. We know it's the Empire is here taking our resources. We know they're going against their promises. If we don't act now, we will never be strong enough to stand up against them. And you already have one massacre to tell you that. How much
That is
longer do
true.
you have to wait? And again, it's too real because we are in some shit right now. It's like,
Yep.
fuck.
Yep. Just it's great that we're out of the range of uh being drafted. It's very nice.
Right. Right. Yeah. Hey, just as a side note, MAGA, you want to support? Sign up.
Yeah.
How about you put your money where your
Yeah.
mouth is and sign up and defend our country?
Right.
Um,
That's what a true patriot would do.
yeah. Yeah. Follow your king,
Mhm.
you cunts. All right.
Right.
So I love watching the slow build of what we know is coming. And maybe the Gormans don't have the full context of because they're isolated on their world. And this is what I love about Star Wars so much, that I don't think if you're just casually watching it, maybe you just don't understand. Like there are HoloNet feeds being like sent all throughout the galaxy, but the Empire's in charge of them. And so it's
Mhm.
like Fox News controls all information. And let's just
Oh
pretend
god.
that we once
That
had
would
a
be so
war
terrible.
where we invaded a country that had nothing to do with an attack on our country. And there was an entire news institution built around perpetuating a lie. And it worked. And we lived through it and we saw it. And it's happening again,
Mhm.
by the way. Manufactured fucking consent about, oh, weapons of mass destruction. Give me a
Dude,
fucking
every
break.
goddamn time. Like, that was 20 fucking years ago. Like,
Yeah, have
come
we
the
not
fuck
learned
on.
at all?
Yeah, it's the sheer intentional ignorance of the current situations being just a repeat of recent history just is dumbfounding. And the fact that so many people, even people that I would consider normally intelligent people, have bought into the propaganda of it all, and can't remember far back enough to remember before these ideas even existed in the current culture. It's like this isn't new. This isn't something that, like, it blows my fucking mind.
Mhm.
Just like the whole idea of red state or blue state, like that wasn't a thing ever until Bush. Well, specifically W. Like, oh god, it's so frustrating. It's so
Yeah.
fucking frustrating.
Uh, but that's what we're seeing them going through in Ghorman,
Yeah,
and so it's so ripe for comparison, and it's so frustrating to watch because
yeah,
we know it's coming. Like
yep.
we know, and we just don't know how it's going to unfold. And so seeing Cyril just infiltrate himself so masterfully and so brilliantly, and seeing the way he composes himself and the little breaks he allows himself to have to convince them of his authenticity. I mean, it's just so great. It
Yeah,
made me
man.
really like the character when I didn't before.
Yeah, same. And it's so frustrating too because it's like you still don't want to like him because he's a piece of shit.
Right.
But you can't help but have respect for just the sheer size of his balls to be pulling this kind of shit off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, it's probably mostly Deirdre. Like, she's pulling the strings, blah blah blah. But still, like, the intestinal fortitude to be able to jump into the like belly of the beast,
Mhm.
just yeah, it's fucking fantastic.
And then we're sort of the third part of this entire episode. We cut over to Saw Gerrera's tribe, which is always great because this is the
Oh
first
yeah.
time we've seen them in this series, right?
Um, I think so. I haven't rewatched the
Yeah,
first season yet, but
I
yeah,
haven't either.
I believe so.
In any case, we know we're going to see him later on where he's all fucked up, but
Mhm.
like they have a machine that is going to then extract rhydonium, which is a fuel source. So they have like unlimited fuel. And they just have this guy named Wilmon who is supposed to teach them. And Saw is basically straight up like, I'm going to keep you in my tribe until I'm done and I get what I want. So don't pretend
Yeah.
that you're just going to be leaving tonight after you've given, like, he doesn't trust anyone. I mean, justifiably, I would assume, because he's still
Yeah.
alive, so
Yeah.
he has to be effective. But you can. This is where we see his fervor and
Mhm.
the devotion of his crew to him specifically, and the cause, but mainly to him. And it
Mhm.
does make me think. Like, it actually kind of reminds me of um, Apocalypse Now, um,
Yeah.
with
Holy
what's
shit.
his name? Oh my gosh, what is that guy's name? Fuck me.
That is an excellent
Can't
question, which
remember his
I
name.
should be able to answer.
In any case, it was brilliant because it's like this like weird cult of a
Mhm.
military group that will do anything for their leader. And again, you always, no matter what unit you're in, even if you just absolutely hate your commander, or your non-commissioned officers, you're still on the same side. And so you're going to do everything you
Mhm.
can. Marlon Brando, thank you, Josh. Appreciate you, man. Um,
Yeah, I was trying to remember the damn character's name.
oh, right.
I remember. Like, yeah.
I couldn't remember the actor's name either. I was drawing a total blank. But
Fair enough.
like you'll always defend them. But there's a difference between having their back and trying to save their life and worshiping them. And
Yeah.
I do feel like, ultimately we see that with Mon Mothma later on. But right now, I feel like we're seeing that right now with Saw Gerrera already. Like his crew
Mhm.
is 100% ride or die. And I kind of dig that fanaticism about it because you kind of have
Mhm.
to have that in order to pull off some crazy shit. Especially
Oh, yeah.
if you've ever read any of the books, like the sort of the prequel and the books about the Rogue One. I can't remember what those are called either, but they're great. And it just talks
Mhm.
about Saw's team doing some crazy shit. And I love that because he's a crazy fucking dude. But Rhydonium specifically, like that comes from his homeworld, doesn't it?
I believe so.
Like if I'm trying to remember the Clone Wars when we
Yeah,
were first introduced.
it's been such a long fucking time since I've read those that
And if it's not
I
his,
honestly
then
don't
it's the
remember.
Twi'lek homeworld. But I can't remember.
Maybe it
One of them was
is.
stripped for the Rhydonium. In any case, I love that they have this method now, like they have the means of perpetually fighting back, and they don't have to like run to fuel depots and steal fuel or anything like that. Like they can generate it, like
Mhm.
straight up. But of course, Rhydonium, there's problems because it can kill you and it can harm your circulatory system. And
So, yeah, it is, Saw's homeworld,
okay,
not the Twi'lek homeworld.
cool.
That was gonna bug me,
So
so I
that
had to
makes
look that
even
shit
more
up.
sense because he has that moment when he's like, "Ooh, I love the smell of Rhydonium."
Yeah.
I mean, super fucking cool. And of course, then we see Mon Mothma as a sort of closing moment, doing her damnedest to rally support
Oh, man.
for the legal way of standing up against the Empire,
Right.
and just no one wanting to do it. Again, very reminiscent of our real world.
Right, and it just the look on everybody's face of just like, "Oh god, this shit again." Like,
Hmm.
that's literally what you're there for, motherfuckers.
But
Like,
yeah,
you're
once you're a
uh,
career politician, you have
yeah.
to start making compromising decisions because you're no longer there for your constituents. You know.
Oh, yeah. Yep, no, you're there for your own benefit.
And that's where I think we should probably draw a line because we've been hammering a lot of, sort of MAGA and Republicans in a lot of our commentary about stuff like this. But the reality is the Democrats have not done anything to stop it. They have not stood
No,
up. They have
not at
not
all.
fought back. And they're the reason why Trump was elected again in the first fucking place. And
Mhm.
so we have to put blame squarely at their institutional feet because they are career politicians as well. And so why
Yep.
would they stand up against the fucking evil empire when it's easier to be silent and like shake your fist and not do anything because once
Mhm.
election year comes around again, you might get reelected and you'll make tons of fucking more money again. And the fact that
Right,
both
yeah.
sides are paid by the same people doesn't help anyone. Certainly not any constituents, and certainly not the world. All you got to do is open your eyes
Fuck
and
no.
look around you.
Right.
Um, and so seeing that Mon Mothma is like, look, you used to support me. What's going on? That is career fucking politician 101 behavior of them being like, look, you don't have the
Absolutely.
numbers. If you don't have the numbers, I'm not going to stick my neck out. And they're like, but the fucking galaxy's going down in flames all around us. And you're just not brave enough to stand up to the moment. And
Right.
again, it's too real.
Entirely too fucking real.
It's wild. And I love this
Yes.
show so much because of that. As you sort of mentioned before, because it's so relatable, that's why we love it and hate it at the same time.
Mhm.
And this is the type of storytelling where it's mixing the prequel political realities with the um, um, original trilogy's sort of rough and tumble, rebellion. And it's this beautiful marriage of adult and kid sensibilities of like Bang Pew, spy stuff,
Mhm.
and the political machinations behind the scenes that we just don't get in other shows. Instead, we get assholes
Right.
coming out of water without their shirt on and girls just like googling at them.
Yeah. But they show different types of lightsaber battle. I don't fucking care. It's bad storytelling.
The power of many. Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. I
It just rings in my head. I'm just like, fuck me.
I thought I had blocked that out all the way.
It's so
Jesus
bad.
Christ.
So bad.
Still, the
What?
biggest travesty of it all was to include Darth Plagueis for
Right.
no good fucking reason.
At the very end,
Oh god.
just peeking
Yeah.
out behind a rock because he has to hide from no one.
So fucking stupid.
Oh, god
I
damn.
fucking hate Star Wars.
So, like, we have this brilliant storytelling that
Mhm.
is just foreshadowing life, and then we have terrible storytelling. You see the fan bases react to each. Why don't you do the brilliant one more? Why
Yeah.
is that so
Well,
hard?
the frustrating thing is there's a lot of fans that hate this, and
Really?
it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, because it's too real, it's too adult, and it's like, so fucking what? Are you not an adult? Like, I
Oh, I didn't
understand,
know
like,
that.
I'm a child at heart, I watch cartoons regularly, I fucking read comics, I'm a fucking man-child, essentially, but, like, this is good storytelling.
Yeah, it's
It just so
great.
happens to be Star Wars, that's what it should be.
And that's the best part of it, I think.
Mhm.
It's like the 28 years later. It is a great story, and it just happens to be set in that world, which is why I thought it was so great. And it's also why some people hated it. So I guess I could understand why people wouldn't
That
like this.
shit just drives me insane because it's like that's like the best aspect of shit. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is reality, but it just so happens to be there's a giant fucking monster, or it just so happens to be that there's a fucking penis demon that's gonna jump out and bite your dick off. I like
Wait, what's
that's
this
the
one
best
again? I
kind
gotta
of
write
story.
this down.
I don't know. I I'm trying to remember.
Gonna bite your dick.
Was it Dick Shark? I don't remember.
Dick Shark.
I'll look it up. Yeah, Dick Shark. I do that. That is a movie that I have. It's fucking hilarious. Oh shit, I'm trying to remember what the fuck
We
I'm
gotta
talking
figure out Dick Shark.
about. I don't remember.
All right, we gotta watch that
Yeah.
someday. So bite your dick. Ah! All right, so I mean that's the episode. What were your favorite parts?
Oh fuck, man. It's hard because the entire episode was just perfection. Like this was, even the first time watching it, like one of my first notes was like, "Fuck, I think I'm just being a poopy pants because this is fantastic." Um, I don't know if I had to pick one thing that was probably my favorite, it's the introduction of Cyril with the Resistance.
Yeah,
Like
that was really good.
that whole thing was just fantastic. Like, and even to the introduction of like, hey, here's a spider for you. I don't want it. No, 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 you want this one? It's free. Like he was totally fucking like he knew what that was, and he still went against it just for the believability. It was just like fucking fantastic spy.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely
Hell
love that.
yeah. It's really close all across the board for me, but I ended up going with Bix's PTSD. You didn't have to include it. We had already sort of went past it, but bringing it back adds a level of realism and torture to
Mhm.
Cassian and his decision making that I found really, really interesting, um,
Mhm.
and painful and traumatic and relatable, and I loved it. I thought it was so
Yeah.
fucking good. Did you have a
No.
least favorite moment? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no. I was just agreeing with you. Like it was fucking fantastic. No, not really. I honestly, I'm looking at my notes, looking at your notes. I can't really think of anything that I didn't like about this episode. Like it's
Yeah,
almost like
it's
from here on out,
yep,
it's just pure gold.
yeah, just bangers one after another. Some of them better than others, but they're still all bangers.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris couldn't make the show because he clearly is not a fan. Dick.
Yeah, obviously. At least Josh is.
Yeah, we love you, Josh.
Fucking Chris. I'm gonna fucking manually change the number 1 to Josh instead of Chris.
So he says it's a fascinating portrayal of a leader who has to make too many moral sacrifices and suffered extreme paranoia. Yeah, I
Mhm.
love Saw Gerrera's character because of that. We just see his
Yeah, man.
degradation as time goes on. And he loves the Andor quality show, trying to tackle the time period for the sequels for damage control and better take on the First Order, Snoke, etc. What?
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, he'd
Uh,
love to see an Andor type show for the sequel trilogy.
oh, okay.
Uh,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess if there was one nitpick, and it doesn't matter now because the series is over and we already know how it works. But originally, I was like, huh, that's kind of a fucking big jump. But finding out that every 3-story arc ends, and then there's a year in between. Like that initially bothered me, but
Mhm.
now understanding how the rest of the season plays out, it fucking works for me.
Yeah, I love how we're just marching to Rogue One. We're just like
Hmm.
encapsulating impactful moments, rather than trying to like draw it all out and just see every little moment. And I also kind of liked
Yep.
it because it could wear on too long. I mean, just watching little resistances succeed and fail, it could get tiring. So I like that they're
Yeah.
hitting the big important moments in
Oh yeah.
these 3-story arcs, because again,
Yeah.
this is
I'm
how we think.
I'm pretty glad that we didn't have like an arc where he had to pay off a popcorn debt. So I like the pacing of it.
Yeah, that's a thing too. For people, he's not making a joke. That's a thing.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
Star
But
Wars.
people fucking
You
love the Bad
silly
Batch,
bitch.
right?
So we clearly know what's going to happen. So I don't know that
Mhm.
we need to go for the hopes of the future episodes, but let's just talk for hopes of future storytelling. Do you think that Disney is going to come back to this style of storytelling again?
I really don't know. Like I want to be the eternal optimist that every now and then we're gonna get that one diamond that peeks out like a kernel of corn out of the turd sandwich that is Disney's Star Wars. But I don't know. Like the other shit that we had so much faith in that was groundbreaking and amazing just turned out to be a steaming pile of shit at the end.
Hmm.
So it's like uh, I I want it. I really do, but I think this is probably the best we're gonna get.
Oh, it's depressing.
It
Yeah,
really is.
I would never want to see a sequel. I want to forget the sequels. Like, I
Mhm.
don't want to see a show like this contextualize the sequels. I just don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and the thing is, it's like they keep talking about doing new eras and shit we haven't seen. They're not. Like the next shit coming out is Clone Wars shit. Still, it's like I get it. Like that was I mean, it was a small period of time, but it was a period of time that was a, a galactic fucking battle. So it's like, yes, there's a lot of story to pull from it, but that's kind of fucking boring at this point.
and we've
Like,
had so many episodes of Clone Wars
like,
stuff.
yeah, it's like just give us something new, even if it's trash. Just hopefully it's better than the Acolyte.
Yeah. Not a high bar.
No, not a high bar at all.
All right.
Oh,
Well, anything else you wanted to cover?
I think we got it.
Well, thank you all so much for tuning in, both live and chat or after the fact. We invite you to subscribe to this channel. Click the bell to get notified about our next video. You can now support this channel through. There's a new concerning people from Rogue One and Andor teams either pitching or starting work up for a horror-based movie. What?
Will
Josh.
they've been pickling our balls with that for years. I don't fucking know.
Oh,
I
Death
hope it
Troopers,
happens.
please.
I
Death
really
Troopers,
do.
please. Death Troopers, please.
Like I still right. You get Mike Flanagan
Mm-hmm.
to do Death Troopers
Mm-hmm.
or Red
Red
Harvest.
Harvest. Do both.
I will, with my bare hands, rip off one of my testicles and hand it to Disney if I have to for that to happen. No joke. Like, put that shit down on record right now. Kathleen Kennedy, if you're fucking listening, because I know you are,
If this is what you're
obviously.
into,
Um,
I'll do it.
seriously, like that would be so fucking amazing.
Oh, goddamn, that would be amazing. I'd love that so
Yeah.
much. Give us some fucking good horror storytelling. All
Mhm.
right. All my fingers are crossed, Josh. You gave me a little bit of hope, even though hope
Yeah.
dies in the darkness.
Yeah, hope dies so easily with this franchise. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you can all support this channel, of course, through memberships and apparel. So go pick up some kick-ass Star Wars t-shirts, or actually Infernal Brotherhood
Fuck yeah.
t-shirts, because it's more. I mean, it is Star Wars, but it's our brand. You know what I mean?
It's
So
a lot
until the
cooler.
Infernal Brotherhood convenes again, my fellow scruffy-looking nerfers, may the Force be with you.
Joey next.